Hey, welcome back to Real Housewives for Recaps. Today I'm covering Real Housewives of New York, Season 12, Episode 13, Remember Your Bluestone Manners. Oh, it was a good episode, you guys. We got to see Lou's asshole side, we got to see Ramona's asshole side, and we got to see Dorinda's asshole side. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So first off, I want to talk about this. What in the world is she wearing here? I like a lot of Leah's looks. I do, but I don't know what this is. I tried to get on my Google machine and find out who makes it and what this is. I couldn't find anything. So anyway, I just thought that was hilarious to see her in this. So we pick up where we left off. Luann is throwing just the biggest bitchy tantrum where she's saying, it's my show, I'm a cabaret star, and all this nonsense, and being totally just an awful person to Sonja, calls her worthless, storms out of the room. So it's 40 minutes later, and they pick up, remember on the last episode, Lou was saying to Sonja she's worthless. I guess they've had time to go in their rooms and stuff and order food. So 40 minutes later, and the food arrives. Ramona is being so weird. She's flirting with Ben, the delivery guy. She talks about being sloppy. She says, I know I look thin, but I love to eat. The poor guy doesn't know where to set down the food, and he just wants to get out of there. If you look, he's walking off shaking his head when he leaves. Dorinda's wearing this crazy gold outfit. It has insane sleeves. I guess this is what she wants to wear for staying in. Sonja and Lou see each other. Lou is still being an asshole, super aggressive. Dorinda says to the table, I don't know why Sonja puts up with that. Sonja should know her worth. Ramona says Sonja was doing cabaret before anyone was doing cabaret. Then Lou appears out of nowhere and is being super aggressive with her body language, and her words. She's leaning on the table saying, I'm listening. Ramona says that Sonja did cabaret first, and that it was, she says, wasn't it good? Lou says no, and she's a major, and they cut her off because she's about to say that she's a major cabaret star. Sonja says in the kitchen, you're a major cabaret star. We know that, Countess. So I thought that was pretty funny. Sonja says, don't get high on your horse. Give her credit. Ramona says, there's room for everybody. Dorinda says, you're being nasty. And Lou says, no, I'm not being nasty. Lou says to Sonja, it's about me and not about you, as it's called Countess and Friends. And she's talking over her. She's not making eye contact. It's super awkward. And then Leah says here, yeah, and friends. Lou says, I have a cabaret show and it's successful. And Sonja says to shut the F up. So good for Sonja for finally saying something. They're all wasted, as they continue to be on every single episode. Sonja says, I'm done with Luann. I'm done with her show. Lou then starts talking to Lynn, the housekeeper, about her professional show because everyone else is sick of her. And Lynn says, okay, that's good. Now you go eat. Like, come on, move along. So Sonja is back at the table and she's saying, she just disrespected me right now. And Lou, again, is being aggressive, leaning over the table. She's just like, her whole body language is like, I'm great, lording over everybody. It's just awful. Sonja's saying, you suck. You said I suck and then I'm bad. Lou said, no, that's not what I said. Ramona's doing her yell and walk away thing and saying, you paid her $200. That's insulting. Sorry, it's insulting. And I gotta say, Ramona's right. That is insulting. Dorinda's saying how you should be ashamed of yourself. Sonja was with you when you were down and out. Ramona to camera is saying Lou is using Sonja for laughs and not paying her. It's not right. Ramona then reveals that Luann told her she's making a shitload of money so she can afford to give Sonja $1,000 or $2. Sonja could use the money. And that's so messed up. Luann should pay them more. All the talent. I've heard a lot of people review the show and say that's mostly what the show is. It's a little bit of Luann singing her, I'm using air quotations here, her hits. but it's mostly her guests that are doing the entertaining and putting on the cabaret. Dorinda yells, "Shame on you." Sonja yells, "You're not paying your artists." Lou says, "You don't even know what's going on, Dorinda." And Dorinda says, "Yes, I do." Lou says, "You know everything, Dorinda. You know everything." Dorinda says, "Really? You're a drunk, you drunken fool. You have a mugshot of your drunkenness." And while she's not technically wrong, and I'm not sticking up for Lou because she is a drunken fool, so is Dorinda. They all have a drinking problem this season, and it's just, I don't know what to say. I don't know if I should talk about that, but woo, wow, yeah. Anyway, Leah has a funny line here where she says to camera, "It sucks to hear this out of Dorinda's mouth," talking about the drunken fool and the drunkenness and the mugshot. She says, "Let's be honest. We're all one drink away from a mugshot at this point." Ramona says Dorinda's being aggressive, which she is. She gets aggressive when she drinks. Lou's in her room crying and packing and making weird crying noises. This bothers me. Lou's making herself into a victim here, and they're all just kind of going with it, when she was the one calling Sonja worthless. Dorinda pours a huge drink, and the editors they're sure to show that, and says she uses us. She uses the whole Giovanni thing, which I gave her. So it sounds like there's continued resentment there. Lou started all of this, and it's just, again, she's playing the victim. It's just crazy. To camera, she says, "There's no way I can stay in this house. Why is Dorinda trying to make me feel ashamed and make me feel bad about myself?" Isn't that what you're doing to Sonja, Lou? As Lou leaves, Dorinda sings "Feeling Giovanni." Thank God you have it. You had nothing before. Wow, that's what Dorinda said. Leah follows Lou out, and she says to camera, "I'm starting to think Dorinda owns stock in Giovanni because the amount of times Giovanni comes out of her mouth, it doesn't make any sense." Leah asks Lou to go to a pub. Sonja at this time falls over backwards inexplicably at the table. I'm going to call this one as maybe put on because this is something she does now every time. She's kind of known for this, so I just feel like this one was a little bit forced. Leah comes out. Lou's crying so hard. Leah hugs her. She goes in to get Ramona, and Sonja is like spider monkeying her, holding on to her, while Leah's trying to get her to go comfort Lou. So once again, the editors show how much they've been drinking. They all go to bed. So it's the next morning. Dorinda is up. I don't know how they can drink this much and just be functional the next morning. Tell me you noticed Dorinda's sweater here. She's wearing what looks to be a Christmas sweater, but it's got strippers on it. So be sure to take a look at that. So Dorinda says that she shouldn't have gotten involved. Ramona's up, and Sonja to camera talks about Lou and thinks her time is more important than my time, and that's what bothers Sonja. Elise tells Sonja that Lou stayed at a hotel last night. Leah says Lou was upset until they went to an old school jazz bar where Lou got up and was dancing and wanted to sing, and they were not into it. Dorinda calls Luann. Dorinda says, "I love you." Lou says, "I love you too." They both say they don't know what happened. They both admit that they were drunk and they didn't handle things correctly. This bothered me too. Lou says she was overserved. And again, I think that's to the victim role that she's playing. Not that she drank too much, that she was overserved. So then they all have breakfast and they talk about the day. It sounds like they're going to go shopping. They're going to go into Lenox to these shops and meet up with Lou. Leah says she's glad she was the least drunk and that she doesn't have to apologize today. So they pick up Lou and they're about to go into town and to go shopping. She gets in the car and talks about how crazy it was the previous night. To camera, Lou says, "Dorinda pushes the resentments down. I should have sat and played dead the way Ramona did at the Halloween party." So they go in this shop and they're looking around, and Lou and Sonja hug and they make up, and Lou admits that she wants Sonja in the cabaret show. And she explains that in the bigger venues that she can work on paying Sonja more. So that's good. I mean, I don't believe it, but that's good that she's at least pretending to make an effort. I'm curious if she paid her other artists anymore. I'd like to hear about that. So they then go into this wine and cheese shop. They're looking around. They say that their friend Colin Cowie's going to come cook them a fancy meal, We have a new confession look from Sonja here. It's very interesting. I guess she's back home from her retreat. We learned that Frenchie, Sonja's guy that she had previously, is still in the picture. It sounds like they're still hooking up. They start talking about some prince that Leah met and that she peed on him. Leah talks about him coming to New York for a week, and anyway, gross. So they go back to Bluestone on the drive. Both Dorinda and Lou talk about drinking at home. They talk about if they should go out for drinks or drink at home, to which I say, good God, isn't that enough? I mean, drink on vacation, but my God, that's a lot. Makes my liver hurt. We see Bluestone Manor here. I just love this house. I don't love how she decorated. We talked about this last week. I got a lot of comments agreeing and disagreeing with me, and that's fine. I love this garden. I mean, the way that they have it landscaped, I think it's beautiful. So they go inside, and Sonja is doing this weird bubble bath, which really made me laugh because all you can do is see her face. We got a disgusting scene of Ramona here plunging the toilet. I can't believe what they showed. I'm not going to show it because it's so disgusting, and this whole moment was just gross, but I'm glad the editors left it in because they're showing it. I mean, they showed her poop, right? And then in a scene not even a few minutes from now, she talks about being a 1%er. So I thought that was interesting that I think the editors left that in on purpose just to show what an a-hole Ramona is. We got this Colin Cowie guy here. He's making what looks to be a delicious dinner. Dorinda, who I forgot her sister's name is Melinda and Dorinda. She comes over, they look just alike. We find out that Leah is texting a bartender she met the night before. And she asked Dorinda about having a bartender over from the Red Lion. Dorinda says she used to work there, so he's welcome. We see Elise here. She's talking about when she drinks, she has an alter ego. I just think that whole storyline is dumb when people say that. That happens a lot on Below Deck, where people get drunk and they call the drunk person something else. Well, her alter ego is called Erica. They show a picture of her from 2012. She looks the exact same. And I don't mean to offend anybody if you have these bangs, but she still has the same stupid bangs. I just don't think they suit her at all. It can look cute on some people. I don't think she's one of them. And it's just weird that she has the exact same look and hairstyle. And even in the picture, she just looks bored. I don't know. Boring, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, we get to see Heather Thompson, holla, and her husband arrive. I'm one of the ones that actually really liked her. I thought she was a lot of fun. I like her because she bugged Ramona so much, and I think we need somebody like that. So she arrives, she's hugging on everybody and talking about Lou's cabaret show. Ramona joins in and she's talking about it, and Heather's surprised that Ramona's complimenting Lou singing. And Ramona says, no, I'm complimenting her show. And then she has to backtrack really quick. That was kind of a funny, awkward moment. So they sit down at the table to enjoy this big meal. I thought the table was decorated nice. I love those dark purple flowers. Don't love those dining room chairs, but that's just me. So they have this weird looking salad. I can't decide if it looks delicious or just strange. You cut it, it falls open. I'm sure it's delicious. It's just kind of a strange presentation. And can you eat that thing that you cut? Probably not. So I think it's kind of weird that it drops in your food like that. Ramona and Leah talk about Elise being wasted, which we see. Then we have Ramona. Ugh, she's the worst. She's talking to Dorinda's friend. They're making conversation. He's talking about online dating. Ramona says, we're the top 1%. We won't find that online dating. And then to camera, oh, she's just the worst. To camera, she says, I'm not the average person. The average person doesn't have 2 residences. They don't travel all the time. They don't have my social network and my entree. So online dating is very difficult for me. That's all. Oh my God, Ramona, we just saw your poop in the potty. We've seen you falling down drunk. We've seen... you're disgusting. That is a disgusting way to think and a disgusting thing to say. And I wish she was off the show. I just can't with Ramona. I know she's always been an asshole, but I think it's an all-time high this season. And I will get to this, but I'm just so annoyed that they're giving her family airtime next week. All of it. I just think her whole family's trash. So then we see where Dorinda is making a toast. She makes a toast to Leah and how impressed with her she is. She says that Leah's a mini her, but with more chutzpah. Leah is drunk and she's honored and humble and says she's so happy. And she's happy to be the only one with her period still. I thought that was pretty funny. Elise and Leah share a kiss. The bartender's about to come over. His name's James. So he comes over. I thought he was pretty cute. I'm personally not into the beard thing, but he's cute and she seems to like him. And I know she's trying to move on from pita chips, so good for her. So Dorinda is just completely wasted. She tells him about her whole life. They do this like time-lapse thing where she's talking to him because apparently she used to work where he works. And then we see where everybody's trashed and dancing and making up with each other. And that's where the episode ends. So then we get a flash of next week. It looks like Lou is at some sort of maybe an AA meeting or some sort of meeting. Then we have Ramona with her family. Again, I just can't care about them. We got Dorinda in some sort of insane outfit with fake boobs. Ramona's being completely superficial and awful, and she's with Avery's friends. It's just so cringy and weird. And then you guys, we see the birthday party. I cannot wait to see what the heck happens. Looks like they are just trashed, grinding on each other. Ramona is freaking out because she's not the center of attention. She says, "Get the effing producers here." And we see everybody's getting mad at everybody. Sonja is stomping on this glass like tray thing and breaking it while she has something crazy on her head. Again, Ramona's just freaking out and I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be great. So that is it for the episode, guys. What are your thoughts? What do you think of the season? How are things going for you? What do you think? I'm just enjoying this so much better than Beverly Hills. So that's my thought. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm covering Real Housewives of New York, Beverly Hills, Below Deck Med. I'm doing last season Potomac before the new season starts up. I'm so excited. And you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Real Recaps. And I thank you all so much for watching and for all the wonderful comments you guys have left. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you guys. And I hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.